My name is Laura Williams, independent Epicure consultant, and today we'll be making a delicious and fast Asian stir fry. The first thing that you'll want to do before getting started is wash your hands. I have washed and dried my hands, so I am ready to go. What you'll need: grab yourself a generous helping of your favorite vegetables. I love mushrooms and peppers, and I always have them on hand, so that's what I'll be using. You'll also need to select your protein. I'll be using tofu as I don't eat meat, but feel free to use chicken or steak. You can also sub chickpeas in if you'd prefer. You'll also want to make sure that you have a bottle of soy sauce in the cupboard. You'll only need a tablespoon or two, and you can add it to your own taste. We'll get our rice going first. So I've got some boiling water here, 2 cups of boiling water to 1 cup of basmati rice. That part will take probably about 20 minutes or so, give or take, to cook that rice up. So we'll get it started right away. I've boiled my water on high. I've added my rice, and now I'll be covering and reducing the heat to low and just waiting for that basmati rice to boil up nicely. Next, we'll want to start chopping our vegetables. Make sure they're clean. I've already run them through some water and scrubbed them down nicely just to make sure that we get any dirt off. And so you want to be really careful chopping up your veggies. And again, you can use all sorts of different types of veggies. You could use broccoli, snow peas, asparagus. You could even use red onion. You could use bok choy, which is found in a lot of traditional Asian stir fries. This recipe is truly delicious all on its own, with peppers and mushrooms. Honestly, anything that you like. The next thing we'll do is slice and pat dry our tofu. So again, if you're working with chicken or with steak, you can just omit this step. When you're working with tofu, it contains quite a bit of water, and just to retain the flavor of our stir fry, I'm just going to show you how I pat my tofu. So I usually just take a couple of paper towels, and I've sliced my tofu in half. I've lined a tea towel underneath, as you can see, and we're just going to pat dry. Just getting some of that water out. Like I say, it just helps retain some of the flavor of that stir fry if there's not quite as much water hanging out in there. That looks good to me. So my favorite way to cut this for stir fry would be in triangles. Awesome. So this will be our protein in our stir fry. All right, up next, I've got this nice large wok here that we're going to be working with. You do not have to use a wok for your stir fry. You can just use a large pan. That'll honestly do the trick. We'll put that up to medium high, and I'm just going to grab another pan to fry up our tofu separately. Alright, so our tofu pan, we're just going to put that on a lower temperature. I don't want to burn it, so I'm just going to put that at about 4 or 5 on my stove top. It's just important to fry that up separately to make sure that it's cooked evenly before we add it to our veggie stir fry. I'm going to add just a couple of tablespoons of oil to our wok. I have preheated, so it's ready to go. Just a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll add our beautiful chopped veggies. Mix that all together. And you're going to fry that up probably for about 5 to 7 minutes before we start to see things cook up and just soften a little bit here. When we're using Epicure's products, they don't contain any sodium for the most part. So the best thing to do is, if you do like a little salt, just to add to your family's preferences. So while that is cooking, I'm going to get started on dry frying our tofu. So, we don't need any oil in the pan or any seasoning in order to do this. We've got our pan on low, or medium low rather, and we're just going to take a few moments and spread our triangles of tofu into the pan here. If you've never worked with tofu, I urge you to give it a try. It's so healthy, it's a plant-based alternative, and it is very cheap. You can purchase organic tofu at the grocery store for just a few dollars, and it honestly is wonderful to work with in your kitchen. So we'll just leave our tofu triangles to cook up a little bit. We want them golden brown on both sides, and you definitely want to make sure your heat is about a medium low. You can always add more, but if you burn your tofu, then you got burnt tofu for your stir fry. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to take a moment to chop our green onion. When you're done chopping your green onion, don't throw those ends away. You can actually put them in a little bit of water in a mason jar on your windowsill, and your green onions will grow back. I find that they stay flavorful when grown back up to 3-4 times. So give it a try. It's fun growing your own food. Once your rice is ready and all the water has evaporated, remove the pot from heat and just place on your stove or on a trivet or your cutting board, wherever, just somewhere out of the way, and let it sit for about 5 minutes. While we're waiting for our veggies and for our tofu, I'll just show you what we'll be using today. So this is the Asian stir fry seasoning. This seasoning is completely delicious. It's got so many different flavors in it. The ingredients are literally sesame seed, garlic, onions, lemon, red bell pepper, orange, herbs, and cayenne pepper. So all things that you've heard of, no chemicals and no weird ingredients. That's why I love Epicure. They really don't put anything in their food that they wouldn't be comfortable serving to their own family. So that's why Epicure is in my kitchen, and I use it probably for 2 out of 3 meals that I consume and make for my family daily. And before we add the tofu to our dish, I'm going to add just a couple of tablespoons of our Asian stir-fry spice. All of those delicious flavors. Oh, I wish you could smell this right now. It's so tasty. So I would say that that would be plenty for our stir-fry. You'll also need to add a little bit of soy sauce to taste. Doesn't that look good? Our veggies are looking just about ready, so it's now time to add the tofu to the wok. So we'll just carefully use a spatula to get our tofu triangles, or your chicken or your thinly sliced beef, over to the pan. Now you can just mix that all together. At this point, take a peek if you think that you'd like to add a little bit more soy sauce, or maybe you like a little spice and you want to add some sriracha or some extra black pepper, whatever you'd like. All right, look how tasty that looks. I cannot wait for you to try this at home. Once your basmati rice has been sitting for about 5 minutes or so, go ahead and just use a fork to fluff it up. And then you're going to just go ahead and plate your food. So we've got a portion of basmati rice. We'll add our nice, delicious stir fry. Now remember, if these veggies are not your preference, you can literally use anything that you like. If I'd had broccoli in the fridge, I definitely would have added broccoli. Top with green onion. And there you have it, Asian stir fry, made with Epicure Asian stir fry seasoning, made in just moments, ready for your family for dinner. Thank you all so much for allowing me into your home to show you how to make this delicious Asian stir fry. I really hope you enjoy it. If I can help you out with anything in the future, or you have any questions related to cooking at home, send me a message. I'm always happy to help.